Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Oh, yeah. Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? Hope you guys had a great day and a great weekend. I really appreciate you guys for joining me today. Let me get everything set up. I wish there's like a way to like automate these things that everything kind of like moves the way I want it to move, but it never does. But I think that's kind of like the cuteness of our show, that, you know, we try and make it look really nice and smooth and professional, but you can still see like that indie kind of like we're in the trenches kind of vibe in the background a little bit. So maybe that's just who we are. That's just what it is to be a part of True Crime with Strategic. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys for joining me. As promised, we're going to be doing part 2 of evaluating and analyzing, rather, the final interview with Stephan Sterns, right? The one that I had behind me a few seconds ago that we're going to jump back in a few minutes, right? So I want to thank you guys for joining me. I want to thank you guys for all of the support. In the last few videos, we've been getting a lot of support from you fine people, both financially as well as member-wise and just new subs, the whole nine. We really appreciate it. We really want this show to grow. As I told you guys, right now this is a labor of love. It may not always be that. We may end up getting bigger, and it may end up being something very special, more special than it already is special, because believe it or not, it's special right now. And the goal is that if it can become a financially successful show and a show successful with a lot of subscribers and members, then I'll retire. Because you guys know, if I've told you 1,000 times, because I'm very proud of it, only have a year and a half to work, left to work if I want to. So if this becomes something that we can actually make an impact with these folks out here, then I'll retire. I've been doing this for so long. I love what I do, and I'm always eager to keep doing it. And I have no problem staying and doing it much longer. But if this is something special that we can actually retire to, that can actually assist my household, etc., I'll retire, and you guys will get me full time. So that's up to the community. That's up to you guys. So if you guys want to see more of me, well, we know what to do. We share the show. We put it on our social medias. We tell our friends. We tell our people inside of outside of the water cooler at the workplace, hey, there's a guy named Strategic. Maybe you should check him out. If that's what happens and the show grows, then you might get me more often. If not, then I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on those streets who would probably like to keep me doing what I'm doing, because believe me, I give my work 110% of me. So if I got to stay and just keep fighting crime, that's what I'll do. But if this show gets special and it reaches a wider audience, then I'll retire and you'll get me full time. But that being said, guys, you know, we got to talk for like the first 5 minutes. It's worked for us. A few things have worked for us to make these shows monetize, which wasn't happening in the past, is that we take the first 5 minutes to talk to you guys, and then we qualify ourselves as to what gives us the expertise, or the qualifications rather, to talk about these subjects. And then we let you know that this is for adults only. So if you're new to the channel, that's why I'm talking for like the first 5-6 minutes instead of jumping right into the content, because there's a lot of people who's like, why don't you just jump right in? I don't want to hear what you have to say. Jump right in. We came here for the content. This is a part of the content. This is what makes the show monetize. It's worked for us for the last few shows. That's why we haven't been complaining about being demonetized. So we're going to stick with that model. So let's get started on the preamble to help make sure that this show is monetized. Number one, this video that we're going to do is going to be for adults only 18 and up. We're not making content for children. That's not what we do here, all right? But we will be respectful, and we will be, or do our best to, of course, follow the YouTube's content creation rules and regulations, whatever you call it, terms of service, I don't know, right? Secondly, this is for educational purposes. I'm going to give my opinion, of course, at times. You guys are going to see my passion as we talk about this and as we analyze this interview, but this is for educational purposes. What makes it educational purposes is I'm not just a regular old Joe who's reacting to what I see professionals talk about. By the grace of God and the decisions I've made in my life, I'm a professional. I am an active duty sex crimes detective. I have worked doing sex crimes investigations for most of my adult life. I have 18 and a half years of law enforcement experience. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and social work. I have various trainings, such as I'm a certified crime scene technician. I'm certified in multiple styles of interview interrogation, especially, or not especially, but in addition to the read technique, which is not a technique you should use by itself. The read technique should be amalgamation of other interview interrogation techniques. And when you put all of those things together, you might get something special and you might get some answers from these perpetrators. I'm also a crime scene technician. I think I just said that. And I'm also a level 1 fingerprint examiner. All of these certifications come from New York State. And from my time working in New York State Department of Corrections Community Supervision as a sex crimes investigator and later a sex crimes senior investigator. Then I left that job and I went into policing, and I've been policing for the last few years. And I've been recently promoted in the last few years to being a detective where I currently am. Okay. That being said, we're evaluating this from a professional standpoint. We're using my years of experience in law enforcement to at times critique what the officers are doing and at times uplift them and say, hey, you did a great job. Yay. I don't have the yay set up. I got to set that up in a second. So that's why we're here. We're not here to have fun. We're not here. Well, we're going to have fun. I'm not going to lie. I'm a funny guy. I like to crack jokes and I have a dark sense of humor because I've been investigating in these dark worlds for a very long time. So I do have a dark sense of humor. So we will laugh here from time to time. But the purpose of us being here is not to make fun or make light of this tragic situation. It's for us to get a better understanding of this situation for the purposes of understanding what's going to happen when it gets to court. And lastly, for the purposes of hopefully saving a life in the future. Because some mother and father or child might be, when I say child, I mean adult child, 18, 19. Be careful with YouTube, right? They might be watching this show right now. And they might be seeing Maddie in themselves or Maddie in their children. And they might take action based off of what they see in this show and other shows, period. And that's why we bring this awareness. We bring this awareness so that the victim can get justice. And we bring the awareness so that we can save lives in the future. So that being said, guys, what time? We're at 7-minute mark. We're at good time. It's time to thank you guys once again for coming in. Thanks for all the members who are going to be in here showing love with those green highlighted names. That means you're a member of the show, and we appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who might decide to donate to the show and show some love and gift memberships and all that good stuff and super chats. And now we're going to get started, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate you guys immensely. Let me bring up the video, and I'm going to bring it back just a tad bit. Well, we'll play it for 1 second to see where it's at, and then we might go backwards just so we can get context because we're not just jumping right into this. And lastly, big shout out to whose video we're going to be using. We're using Plunder's video. This is posted on Plunders. This is the unredacted or very minimally redacted. I think the only redactions they're doing now are just redacting Maddie's name. Other than that, they're not redacting anything else. And some people are asking, why was the original audio so redacted and not this one? The original was done by the police department. And the police departments, they're very conservative on what they put out. The district attorney knows what needs to be redacted and what doesn't, what's going to hurt the case and what's not going to hurt their case. And they determined that the only thing that they want to redact pretty much is Madeline Soto's name. So we are pretty much getting a whole wealth of new information because so much information, so much incriminating information, in my opinion, was redacted by the police department that we really didn't even understand the conversations that was being had between the police and these subjects and witnesses because they redacted so much. Now that stuff have not been redacted, it's almost as though we're all listening to this brand new. And that's why it's worthy of us doing brand new shows to evaluate and analyze these statements unredacted because they're brand new to us. They literally are because they were so overly redacted in the past. Now, that being said, let's get started.
At the time, I think she was on her way home. I think that she had a blood appointment, and we were both kind of...
All right, so I'm going to bring it back to 30 just so we could get that proper context. Let's go.
Okay. All right, so she's walking towards the school. Do you continue straight when you leave, or do you turn out?
I turned around and went back the other way. I was watching her in my rearview mirror, and she was going the right direction, so it looked okay.
And where did you go after that?
The next stop I wanted to go to was the vape shop. It opened at 10, so I had a little while, so I just kind of meandered around and eventually made my way over there to wait for it to open. It didn't open when it was supposed to, so I left and came home, and went back about an hour later when I was sure it would have to be open at that point. Got what I needed there, and made my way back to home again. Relaxed and hung out with Jake for a while. It seemed like any other morning.
When you got back home after dropping off at school, was Jennifer home at the time?
I think she was on her way home. I think that she had a blood appointment, and we were both kind of going to arrive very shortly with some time with each other.
Okay. So when you got home, when both of you got home, walk me through the rest of the day.
Just hung out, chit-chatted. I mean, I don't know. It's not much to recollect.
But you stayed at home pretty much all day, or no?
Pretty much until, I think, maybe noon-ish or 1 o'clock. I had a few errands to run, but I wanted to be back in time for us to go pick up from school. So I just ran up and down 192. Ended up getting a flat at some point, which made me late to get.
Where'd you get a flat at?
Somewhere along 192.
192 is a big road.
It is, and honestly, it all looks the same to me. So I've been asked, do you remember what plaza you were next to, what color?
Oh, hell no!
I'm ADD as it is, and I was in a medicated fog for the better part of the week. I'm lucky I remember what color.
I didn't even mean to do that, but it kind of, maybe the universe wanted that, hell nah. But we got to go back because I'm trying to understand, like, we know that the sound is a little wonky. I think Plunder may have done that purposely, kind of like bring out the sound, like that's some type of a filter to kind of like, because we know that he whispers a lot, but I'm finding it hard to hear what he's saying, and I'm trying to get this timeline a bit. So I'm bringing back just a tiny bit, so we could kind of like lay down this timeline. It's very difficult. It's not me. This is how the video is uploaded to YouTube. And I believe what she's trying to do is, which is awesome because I don't have these type of technical abilities, but to actually bring out the audio so we can hear what he's saying when he's whispering. We know he does that a lot.
So I just ran up and down 192. Ended up getting a flat at some point, which made me late to get.
Where'd you get a flat at?
Somewhere along 192.
192 is a big road.
It is, and honestly, it all looks the same to me. So I've been asked, do you remember what plaza you were next to, what color? And I'm like, I'm ADD as it is, and I was in a medicated.
Ooh, Lord have mercy. I looked at my email. Oh boy, big shout out to DP with Perky Press. DP with Perky Press. Save the day, ladies and gentlemen. She just dropped in my email the lab report. You guys know we're going to be talking about this tomorrow. The lab report, the new lab report that was just dropped on the internet by various YouTubers. I think the Docket, I think Plunder dropped it. Perky Press got it for us. No watermarks. This one belongs to Strategic. We will be talking about it. Stay tuned for that video. I haven't even reviewed these documents. I didn't even watch what those other creators put out there because I wanted to be fresh for it. I'm going to review this on my own. I'm going to speak to some of my folks that I know of inside of this, the law enforcement world. I'm going to speak to a DA. I'm going to speak to a lab technician. Call them up. Let me ask you a question, man. What do you think about this, that, and third? And when I report it for you guys, I'm going to report it extensively. Stay tuned for that one. Sorry for disturbing this show, but I had to let you guys know that show is coming. Peace. Well, I said peaceful. I'm so accustomed to talking like that. Let's keep going.
It's fog for the better part of the week. I'm lucky I remember what color I'm wearing right now.
Do you remember what errands you were running?
Yeah, I wanted to go check out some game shops.
Where were these game shops?
There's Coliseum of Comics, there's House Rule Games nearby. A lot of the Targets and Walmarts carry the game I was looking forward to. We just had a new release on Friday, so even though I don't have much in the way of money right now, I still wanted to look and see what the situation is.
It's always nice to window shop.
It is. And I'm a serial consumer. So I was just driving around up and down 192, sort of just aimlessly, honestly. Just killing time till it was time to go back.
Alright, so when you got home, did you and Jennifer go pick up from school?
So I got home, it was 10 minutes later than Jen had wanted to leave to go get me. So I had 10 minutes. I called her and said, hey, where are you? I'm so sorry, I got a flat. She already left. She had been gone for 10 minutes. It didn't make sense for her to come back and get me. She likes to be the first in line when the kids start coming out.
Okay, then.
All right, so I just want to say this in reference to Jen Soto, right? So Jen Soto, he said he got home 10 minutes after Jen Soto left, so she could have waited if she really wanted to. But then he clarifies and says she likes to be the first in line. I just want to put this in the back of your brains, guys. A lot of people probably know this already, but I want to put this in the back of your brain because we're not just evaluating his statement. We're doing this case 360, right? Everybody. Jen Soto got there like around 2:30. She was there for around an hour before Maddie was released from school, would have been released from school. When dismissal occurred, you guys understand that Jen Soto only stayed, by her own words, 5 minutes after dismissal before she decided to leave. And she said that she left that quickly because the line started getting long behind her and she didn't want to hold the line up, even though we all know that there's more than one lane in that area where parents park in front of the school to get their kids. There's more than one lane, meaning that people could have easily just went around her. There was nothing obstructing these cars from going around her. I don't even think you could legally, in anywhere in the United States of America, this is just my thought. So, strategic, my school that's in the back of a barnyard in a town of 50 people, we only have one lane. We're not talking about your school that's in a makeshift barn with 50 people in the whole town. We're talking about metropolis areas that have massive schools that house thousands of children. I don't think it's even legal to have one lane outside of a school. I don't think that's even legal. It's not legal. So there's always going to be multiple lanes. But it just keep that in the back of your head, guys. She stayed 5 minutes after the bell rang and broke out. Does that sound like a concerned parent to you? And one more thing that we covered in another video, that these things stand out to me. It's important to me. That's why I'm saying it. She was there long before school was even dismissed. Wouldn't she have observed Maddie walking away from the school when she was the first in line, and Maddie would have had to pass her if she decided she wanted to walk to her grandmother's job or business, because the grandmother owns the business. So there's multiple layers that could have determined if Maddie was even in that school for that day before we ended up finding out 2 hours later. And I hit you with one more before we keep going. People are like, skip back to the video, strategic. You should have saw this video already. So you got time for me. If I got time for you, you got time for me. I hit you with just one more tidbit for you to keep in the back of your head. Why is it, and I don't have the answer for this, I'm just throwing this out there to the universe. Why is it that the first person that Jen called, was the music teacher, who we now found out is a massive ped, who's now in federal custody facing charges for the creation and distribution of ped material. You can't even say C with the Samantha at the end. With C Samantha's material. Maybe I can say that. Why is that? Why is it the only person that not the only, but the first person she called was a ped, and that was the music teacher who was recently arrested for doing horrible things to children online and making them record themselves do horrible things? Why is that? It's just like everything that surrounds these people is evil and negative. Everything that surrounds these people is evil and negative. But let's keep going. What is the odds of that? The universal odds of that. Infinite possibilities in this universe. What is the odds of all these pieces coming together in Jen Soto's world? All these things going wrong at the same time. Your kid goes missing. The first person you contact is a ped. The person who dropped off your kid is a ped / unaliver. All these people surrounding one person, Jennifer Soto. Make it make sense. Let's keep going.
Obviously, it wasn't at school. So what happened? Did Jennifer call you after that, or what?
I was already on the phone with her while she was waiting. We were just chit-chatting. We do that. We just keep each other company, even if we're not physically together. You know? And she's like, "Where's my kid?" Not coming out. And that's when we started asking questions. You know, did she go somewhere else? Did she know that you were going to come pick her up? Did she possibly walk to her grandma's house or grandma's office, which has kind of been what she's been doing for the past week because her mom has started working a new schedule. So we started making all the calls. And no one had seen her yet. And so that's when we started getting a lot more concerned and panicked. She drove around a little more, looking for her, looking along the walking paths, and didn't see anything. Went to her mom's, grandma's, went to mom's office, not there, waited around, not there, went back to the school, not there. At that point, the whole family started rallying up and going to meet at the mom's office. I think that it was around that time we might have called 911 as well.
Gotcha. Going back to bringing to school, how was she like on the car ride there?
She calmed down, sleeping. Sleeping along the way. She does that.
How often have you taken her to school?
This is a big question. I definitely wanted an answer to it. Big shout out to everybody who's showing love, but please hit that like button, guys. Remember, we need that to get in the algorithm. We need it to get in the algorithm. Please hit the like button. That's all we're asking for. The like button for the algorithm, not for our personal egos, okay? So we can get in that algorithm and the show can grow. We need to grow. That's the only way to survive on YouTube. You have to grow. Anyway, let's keep going. Let me see what he says about how often he takes her to school.
Not often, honestly. This might have been my third or fourth morning school run. I'm not normally the one to do it.
And on the other occasions, has she had you drop her off in around the same location, or how does that?
She has this image thing. I guess it's just a middle school thing. She only likes to be seen getting out of certain cars in front of the school. Her mom's is acceptable, but it's, I guess, kind of a hoopty, and she's embarrassing.
Lincoln? What does her mom drive?
Nice looking Sentra. So yeah, this is not the first time she's asked me to drop her off a little ways down so she could walk up and look cool.
So you say she was conked out on the way there. You said you took her to school, or you were on her way to school. You needed to turn around to get your clicker.
Correct.
Was she sleeping then too?
She was. Yeah.
Okay.
It had been an early morning, so I figured it'd be fine to let her sleep in the car ride.
Okay. When you got back to the apartment complex, or did you go in the front gate, or because I know there's the front entrance and then the back entrance?
When I came back after forgetting my fob,
yeah. So which way did you leave?
I would have had to go in the front.
Okay.
And the guy scanned it. And I got in and got my fob and left. I don't remember if I left out the front or the back.
Did you stop anywhere else in?
No.
No.
Not that I recall, no.
Okay. Did you take any trash out from the apartment?
The night before, I think I did. I'm not sure. I took the trash out at some point, but I don't remember if it was the night before or it was the morning of. Yeah, sometimes we get trash bags piling up by the doors. It stresses her mom out to see them.
Is there...
So he says that the trash, I think all this stuff is lies here, guys. I mean, we know most of it is lies because, of course, the evidence had proven it's lies. Well, like, as far as him saying that when the trash is by the door piling up, it stresses the mom out, I don't believe that because Jen Soto's a very messy person. And this is what we see from taking a peek into her life, into her house. Even when, before search warrants were enacted on the house, when we saw that new body-worn camera that was released a couple weeks ago, and you could see the officers kind of like, you could see their cameras kind of peeking into the house. You saw how dirty the closet was, unorganized, clothes all over the place. We couldn't see what her bedroom looked like, but we saw a glimpse of like what her personal areas were looking at. It's very disorganized. Most people who suffer from the many issues that she claims she suffers from, because I believe her, but I also have not seen any documentation of it. They're not very organized folks. You know, there's a lot going on that they're trying to work through. I don't think that she's the exception. From what we've seen with the evidence photos, etc., the crime scene photos, she doesn't seem like the type that would, you know, have that issue. Furthermore, Stephan Sterns is not the type to take the initiative to help out. Stephan Sterns doesn't help out. Only a very low self-esteem, mentally ill person would accept a relationship with a Stephan Sterns. When Jen says that Stephan Sterns doesn't help, I believed her 100%. It's one of those few moments, and I've called out a lot of those moments where I say, I think she's finally telling the truth about something, because I don't believe 90% of what Jen Soto says. And the evidence has bore that out into fact that she should not be believed. But when she says that he's lazy, he doesn't work, he doesn't help out, he doesn't do anything, I agree with that. I think that he's not the type of guy. We all know why he's saying he took the trash out. He's saying it so he could justify why he was throwing things into the dumpster. But we all know that he was throwing Maddie's personal effects in that dumpster, which to me was the dumbest thing he could possibly do. You had a car. You should have disposed it somewhere else. Why would you put that stuff inside of the dumpster? That's what also makes me believe that he's not as smart as he'd like us to believe. This was not planned out. This was not well thought out. I don't believe this was premeditated in a sense of what we would think premeditation is. Now, it's premeditation according to the law. I agree with that charge that he was given, because premeditation can happen right before you actually do the crime. But I'm talking about the general colloquial sense of premeditation. We think of people planning things out weeks and days in advance. He definitely didn't plan this out, guys. I do not believe that he planned this out. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall and understand why he decided to take this young woman's life. I only say young woman because if I say the C word, which is what she was, that's a block word by YouTube, which is crazy. So I can say young woman safely. I want to know why he decided to do that, because in all actuality, I just don't feel like this was premeditated. She had to say, in the general sense of the word, she had to had said something in that moment. Maybe she's 13 now and she's like, I'm tired of it. I don't want you to do this to me anymore. Maybe it's because she's prego. I haven't spoke about that theory in a while. Somebody hit me up via email like, Strategic, you haven't thought about her possibly being pregnant. I was like, oh man, this person doesn't watch the show. They must be new to the show. I haven't spoken about that theory in a while because we're trying to explore other theories. But yeah, that's a big theory for me that I've spoken about for a long time. Anybody who's been with me more than a month knows about my pregnancy theory. I haven't spoken about it in a while though, to my own chagrin. So we'll change that, because that is a viable theory. It certainly is. Maybe because she was either prego or he thought she was prego, but she wasn't. And maybe she thought she was prego because she felt some changes in her body and her period is late and she's thinking, oh, I might be pregnant. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible, from what understanding, that Jen said she had those pregnancy tests for quite a while. It's possible she could have taken one of those tests, but they're old and gave her a false positive. All these things are theories. They might be outlandish, but they're possible theories. But I want to know why he decided to do it, because I just don't see any evidence that could make me believe that he thought this out 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, months in advance. It seems like it's something that happened at the spur of the moment, because everything that happened preceding the unaliving of this young woman seemed to have been the routine that they followed for years. Time for you guys to go up to bedroom number 4. Him and her sleeping in the same bed, unsupervised. Him continuing the abuse that he's done so many years in the past. What changed that ended in him taking her life? I don't know. That's what I'm curious about.
Like a common trash place, or like, is there a dumpster somewhere that people take their trash to?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that where you took the trash out?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't remember if that was Sunday night or Monday morning?
It could have been Sunday night.
All right, I'm going to go back a little bit, just a second. And I'm going to go back to saying juvie instead of young woman, because I don't want to make this child, and I said the word, screw it. Do what you got to do, YouTube. I don't want us to make her older than what she is. I don't want us to take away from the true tragedy of this case by using the term young woman when in fact she was just a juvenile or whatever. But we're going to say juvie or youngin. But we'll say juvie. So I don't want me, Strategic Eyes, to in any way diminish the true gravity of this crime. So we're going to say juvie. All right, let me bring it back just a tad bit, see what he said.
Trash place, or like, is there a dumpster somewhere that people take their trash to?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that where you took the trash out?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't remember if that was Sunday night or Monday morning?
It could have been Sunday night. I don't recall. I'm sorry, I was in fog.
Well, okay. So, where do you think it is?
Supposedly they got video of her walking past the church or waiting at the church for a while, and then leaving.
How's your relationship with her?
Great. I'm one of her favorite people in the world. Even though she's not my flesh and blood, I've always loved her as if she was my own. I've raised her as best I could. Co-parenting, as you would call it. I've known her for half her life.
Gotcha. Okay. How old are you?
I'm 37. About to be 38.
You seem like a genuinely nice person.
I try to be.
Did he just say I try? The cop is obviously detective is obviously being sarcastic. He said, you seem like a genuinely nice person. And this narcissistic beast of a man, spawn of Beelzebub, said, I try. Lord have mercy.
Jennifer talks very highly of you. You know. So, the morning that you took to school, when you came back to use your clicker, what was saying in the car?
She wasn't saying anything. She was just asleep. She was just reclined in the chair, sleeping.
Okay, explain to me, like reclining backwards?
Like just laying back in the chair.
Boy,
Just like that again.
this boy, this dude right here is literally reliving what he did to this youngin. Reliving what he did to Maddie. Did you see how he just posed himself? I didn't even catch that in the first one. Remember, sometimes I'm listening to this stuff and I'm doing other things and looking at the chat and doing the graphics and all the stuff like that in the background. So I'm doing a lot by myself. I don't even remember him doing this. This wasn't redacted in the first one. I just didn't see it. He just literally mimicked for us how Maddie's body was positioned in the car, knowing full well that he took her life. That's insane to me, man. He didn't have to do that. He did that on his own accord. He just did not value this young person's soul. He didn't value her existence. She's nothing to him. Like, if you really loved her and something happened by accident, and you would not even be able to mimic this. It would be so painful to even think about how she was positioned in that car. But he doesn't care. He'll say or do anything to get out of trouble, even though he knows, or he should know, that there's no way he's getting out of this. There's no way he's getting out of this. He knew he was dead to rights. He knew the moment he got in this room, it was over. Why? Because he got YouTube. He's seen this before. All the bad guys have seen this before. He just doesn't care. Big shout out to Leslie with a 1 gift membership. Whoever got that gift membership, please thank Leslie. It's very kind to you, Leslie. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Stephan here. I'm too old to lie to people. Too old to beat around the bush. And we seem like we're having a generally good conversation right now.
All right, okay. So now we're going to get to the part where I have issues. First of all, he's segueing too wrong. I don't like the way he's segueing, but he's going to segue into real talk movement. But I don't like it, but it is what it is. It's just my opinion. Let's keep going.
The only thing that I ask for from you is, and I will reciprocate, I want you to be honest with me as much as I'm being honest with you. Okay? There's cameras in all over the place, as you can imagine. Nowadays, cameras are everywhere. Okay? So we see you coming in and out of at the guard shack in the car. Okay? We see you go by the dumpster. Okay?
I may have taken some trash with me then.
What was in the trash?
What a coward.
House trash.
House trash?
Yeah, Maddie was house trash. Her bags, her belongings, her lunchbox, her shoes, all that is house trash. All the things that she cares about. All the things that mattered to her. All the things that were part of her existence. The things she needed to get through her day. The things that were personal to her. You guys remember when you were a kid that your bag, that was like your personal space? You decorate your book bag, you put your little trinkets in there, a little toy in there, your food goes in there, everything. That's like your bag. It's like a woman's bag or a man's wallet. That's how it started. It started out with your school bag, right? That was personal to you. It was a reflection of you. The style of bag that you bought when it was time to go back to school. Your parents didn't just buy you a bag. They did that when you was like 6 years old. But when you became a preteen and a teen, you told them what bag you wanted because it represented you. It was personal for you. So throwing that bag away to me is like a synonymous of how easily he threw her away. How he easily threw her physical body away in that marsh area, grassy area, whatever you want to call it. It started with the bag. The ease by which he discarded of her personal items is the ease by which he discarded of her body, which is a reflection of how he thought about her. She was not a person. She was an inanimate object. She was a tool of his desires. She was no different than something somebody plays with. She wasn't human. And that's why we should treat him the same way. We become too civilized, ladies and gentlemen. We need to embrace a tiny bit of our barbarity after we give you your due process. We should give this man his due process. We should give him $1 million attorneys. We should spend $1 million of our tax dollars paying his attorneys to defend him. And when we find him guilty of what he did, we should discard him like the trash he discarded that belonged to Maddie that was not trash. We should discard him just like he discarded her. That's true justice in my world. But maybe I'm getting old and I'm jaded. I wouldn't have talked like this 20 years ago. I'd be like, oh my God, I don't believe in the death penalty because one person who's innocent gets sentenced to death. It's a horrendous. Well, you know, I still feel that that's horrible, that we might sometimes make a mistake. And maybe we should raise the bar even higher. But for somebody like Stephan Sterns, he deserves it. And when he gets his due process, I'm all about law and order, ladies and gentlemen, we should discard him like the trash he is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional. Let's keep going.
So it must have been that morning then. We'll toss trash bags on the back seat, and wherever we're going on our way out, we'll drop that out. I think I may have mentioned to her mom that I took the trash out for her. I'll have to double check.
Okay. Was everything in trash bags?
I'm sorry?
Was everything in trash bags, or was there any items that were just tossed along with the bag?
I think it would have been trash bags or maybe some boxes too. Some birthday stuff, leftovers. I can't remember exactly what.
Okay. When you dropped off for school, did she have her backpack with her?
Yes.
She did. Did she have her school computer with her?
Yes. Presumably, yes.
Presumably. Okay.
You see, it's kind of back and forth with these detectives. It's kind of weird because he then segues into, you know, be honest with me, there's cameras everywhere. And then he kind of like allows Stephan to go back into his story, which doesn't make sense to me. Like when you do that transition to, we got to be real now, you got to stay there. You know, you got to be like, listen, man, this is what you're working with. I want to help you, you know? And some people, like I've said that before, and some people say, oh, that sounds like what they do on the TV. Well, you don't know shit. You're not a detective. That's what we do in real life. Where you think that those TV people get their material from? They come to detectives and they come to police departments and they say, hey, can you tell us how you guys do these interview and interrogations? He segued. He put a line in the sand, right? He listened to Stephan Sterns tell his story, and then he put his line in the sand and say, oh, listen, we got cameras. You need to be honest with me, and I'm going to be honest with you. And at that point, he was supposed to build up Stephan Sterns as to how screwed he is. I was going to say the F word. How screwed he is, and how his only hope is to be honest. And this is the evidence that they have. And you could just drop the charade, buddy, because we got X, Y, and Z. Don't give him everything. Don't give him elemental P. Just give him X, Y, and Z. Just give him a taste of something good. You know what I'm saying? And then you keep working on him. At this point, you start doing more talking than Stephan. But what the detective did is like, I'm drawing a line in the sand, and then he lets Stephan talk, and Stephan is just digging deeper into his lies. So what was the point in putting a line in the sand? So he didn't properly prep Stephan. Like you know that this guy is a pathological liar because you watched him sit there and pathologically lie to you. So you can't expect that you say in 2 sentences, okay, it's time to come clean and tell me the truth, that now he's going to say, you got me, man. Okay. All right. Okay, no worries. Yeah, so it started when she was 6 years old. Then progressed to this and that, and then I did that and the third and this, and then you know what, man? The night that I ended her, she told me no, I couldn't handle it. I killed her. I'm done. And the body's located over. That's not gonna happen, bro. It's not going to happen. All right, before I keep going, let me just go ahead and show some love to some people who are showing love to me. I really appreciate it. Internet Girl is a 3-month member. She's celebrating 3 months. Thank you so much. Gorgeous George, 6 months on a patrol level, says membership is worth every penny. Hit the like. Thank you so much. Gorgeous George is a member, and she's letting you guys know you should be members too. Leslie with a 1-gift membership. I think I shouted her out already. But Amber Costner with a 5-gift membership. So whoever's lucky enough to get that 5-gift membership, make sure that you thank Amber. That was very generous of her. And lastly, Elizabeth Toller celebrating 3 months as a recruit. All right, let's keep going.
Should have.
Once again, this goes back with the whole honesty thing. There was things in that trash bag that got thrown away that probably shouldn't have been thrown away. Okay. We'll get that in a minute. But right now, our main focus is finding where he is. That is our number one focus right now. Okay.
He's jumping around. He gives him a taste. The guy challenges him. He says, what? Then he says, well, we'll get back to that. Right now, we want to know where Maddie's at. Well, he's not going to tell you. You're asking for a confession. He's not there yet. You're moving too fast, and you're not moving with a plan and a structure to your interview. Understand this, guys. This interview and interrogation is a science. It is a science. It's not something you just jump into. Now, you could be naturally talented at it, that your brain already has the steps you want to take, the outline of how you want the interview to go, and you can wing it within the confines of those things. That comes with practice. When you do it a lot, you know where you're going to begin, you know where you're going to end. And even though you're winging it still following that guideline that's in your subconscious because you've done it so many times. He's not following a guideline. He's all over the place. He's all over the place. He's never backing Stephan into a corner, ladies and gentlemen. He never backs Stephan into a corner. He inches forward, then he inches back. He inches forward, he inches back. Gets all up on him, then he goes back. There's no consistency. So therefore, you're not getting the emotional response that you want from him because you're not keeping the pressure on him. You told him things were thrown out that shouldn't have been thrown out. Stephan Sterns says, what? He's all ears. He's giving you the stage. He's waiting for you to put the pressure on him. He's preparing himself for the juggernaut. And then you say, oh, but we're looking for Maddie. We'll talk about that later. We're looking for Maddie. That's our focus right now. We're just looking for Maddie. Translation, hey, I got something on you. What do you got on me? I want a confession. That's what that's what was actually said, even though other words. That I'm telling you as a professional, because when you say, well, our focus is to find Maddie, you know, and he knows that he killed her. He unalived her. So you're asking for a confession because that's the only way you're going to find Maddie. Maddie is no longer with us. This is where I put the body. So the translation is, you lied to me. There's things in the bag that shouldn't have been in the bag. Stephan Sterns' response is, well, what do you got on me? The detective's response is, I want a confession. Explain to me how you could get a confession from anybody with that structure of an interview, with that attack, with that plan, with that methodology. Let's keep going.
Do you have any idea where she may be?
No.
He's asking for a
None
confession.
whatsoever.
No.
Okay. All right. Do you know treated?
And then he just defeats him. He defeated the detective and his voice. There's no confidence in this guy's voice. Listen, man, I hate to talk because this guy's out there on the streets right now doing his thing, man. I do feel bad having this conversation, but I'm a YouTuber, so just go to your buddies in the locker room and say, yo, this is YouTube, this New York big shot my effer think he know everything on YouTube, is talking crap about me and my interview style. What do he know? He's a nobody. Just say that to your colleagues, and it'll make you feel better. And just ignore my video. Please, nobody show this guy my video. I feel bad. I don't want to hurt this guy's feelings. But I'm a pro. He's a pro. We're talking as pros, critiquing each other. I don't like what I see here. This is very amateurish. It really is. It really, really is. And you don't got to listen to me to figure that out. You could go on what is red tree crime, whatever. You could go to the dudes that I do a lot of videos on. What they call it again? Go join, watch with us, or some explore with us, whatever. EWU. They all post these videos where you see detectives doing interrogations. Go look at those videos from across the country, small departments, big departments. See how they doing their interrogations and tell me if this one matches up to any one of those interrogations that you've seen. JCS, even though they don't put stuff out there like that anymore. Look at all of those different shows and tell me if those detectives, those seasoned detectives, if they do their interrogations the way you're watching right now on the screen. He didn't ask for that confession, right? Stephan Sterns says, nope, not confessing. And the detective goes, okay. You don't believe me? Watch it again.
None whatsoever. Okay. Right now, our main focus is finding where he is. That is our number one focus right now. Okay. Do you have any idea where she may be?
No.
None whatsoever.
No.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Some people in the chat says, well, they got a ton of evidence on him already. Once again, you're not a pro. It doesn't matter how much evidence you have. You still try and collect more. You still try and collect more. You don't this is not a throwaway just because you got tons of video and pictures of him doing most horrendous things. This is not a throwaway. This is a pivotal investigative step because guess what? If you get him to confess, you save millions of dollars in taxpayers' dollars. You save tons of heartache for the family having to go through a trial and watching pictures of their loved one on the screen getting eviscerated in the way that Stephan Sterns was doing to Madeline Soto. You save them all of that. You get a guilty plea if you get a confession here. Even if he changes his mind and says not guilty and starts the court process, the odds of him actually going to trial is slim to none if he gives a confession in this room. So it's not about, oh, we got a ton of evidence. It's about saving the family and society from the suffering and the trauma of a trial, because a trial is trauma. It's a necessary trauma, and sometimes through that necessary trauma, you can heal, you can get absolution as victims and as survivors, but it still is trauma. It still is trauma. And that's why this moment right here is so important, because this saves victims and survivors, and it saves their family, and by proxy, it saves all of us. And they failed, in my opinion. They didn't have to get a confession. I want to make that clear. There's no guarantee you'll ever get a confession when you do an interrogation, but you can approach it correctly and give yourself a good chance at it. And I don't think that they gave themselves a good chance at it, but let's keep going.
Do you know treated you kind of like her father figure? Yeah. Okay.
So now he segues into something totally different. He says a father figure. I think he's going to now try and play on Stephan Sterns' heartstrings, but we know that Stephan Sterns doesn't have a heart. But let's keep going.
And sounds like she almost kind of wanted you to be her dad. And from what it sounds like, you were playing that figure, and something may have happened. Do you think anything happened?
So he goes in a totally different direction, man. He never puts pressure on Stephan Sterns. Never. Never. The only thing I see right is the proximity he is to Stephan, that he's in his personal space. He should get even closer, to be honest with you. But that's the only thing that's right in this room. The only thing that's right in this room is making Stephan uncomfortable by getting close to him. He should get closer. Everything else is wrong. The energy is wrong. The approach is wrong.
Okay. All right. Do you know anybody that lives in St. Cloud? Do you know where St. Cloud is?
He can't stay on a topic. Once Stephan gives an answer, he just keeps moving to the next topic. Like, I don't understand what I'm watching here. This is probably the biggest case this department has had in years. other than, no, that's Northport. You got to send your A team in here. You got to send your A team. He can't stay on topic. Every time he challenged Sterns and Sterns says no, he just moves on to the next topic. He never puts Sterns on his back. He never puts the pressure on Sterns. Unbelievable. I'm sorry.
St. Cloud, that's north or south?
Do you know where Matt? Did anything happen the night before with Maddie? Nope. Not that I can recall. Okay. You know anybody in St. Cloud? Who do you know in St. Cloud? Huh?
East
East.
of Kissimmee.
Yeah. I've been out there too much. Yeah, I'm familiar with St. Cloud.
Okay, whereabouts in St. Cloud? Like, you know, friends out there, or?
I don't have any friends really. I've driven out there a few times before. Mostly just when I'm meandering up and down 192.
Were you out there this week?
Yeah. I was out there sometime this week. Sometimes I just drive and meander around and explore. And drive till I don't know where I am, and drive till I know where I am again. And I don't know, just driving it's peaceful sometimes.
Alright.
If I got time to kill, I'll just drive around.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So you're saying when you dropped her off, she had her backpack. Presumably her school computer was in her backpack. And
all right, so now it looks like he's going to confront her because he's boxing him in a corner. I mean, he's doing it at the wrong time in the wrong way, but he's doing it. And I like that. I like the fact that, he's boxing him in the corner. Stephan is saying, yes. And he's probably going to drop the hammer. Well, why did we find that stuff in the garbage, Stephan? Why is it in the garbage when you said it was on her back? But let's keep going. Let's see what he does.
described her wearing a green jacket, some kind of dark colored shorts, and white Crocs. Okay. Well, I can confidently tell you she did not go to school with her backpack.
How's that?
Because we found it in the trash. So, Stephan, here's what I'm asking you and pleading with you is to dig down and do some soul searching.
The moment you get these type of answers, the training that you got, if you got training, I got to say the departments that I have and continue to work for, I've worked in the past, work currently, it's all about training. We get a ton of training. In my newest department, I wish we trained more. Working for the Department of Corrections, most of my skill base that I have here, I got from the Department of Corrections. The state of New York is all about training. When you get down to the municipal levels, they don't have that many resources, The priority is public safety. So the training kind of takes a back seat. Now, I will say this. My department trained the hell out of me when it comes to tactical. Especially I was in those specialized units where I was going after guns and stuff like that. I got tons of tactical training. You don't want to play with me in a gunfight. I'm not going to lie to you straight up. I feel like I'm special forces. The type of training they gave me, I'm like special forces. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't use it now, though. It's in the back of your head and I can pull on it when I need it, but I don't use it. When it comes to like investigative, a lot of it is like mentorship, kind of like learning as you go, and then there's some good training that comes with it too. But the Department of Corrections, oh my word, the training I got with New York State Department of Corrections was bananas. It will stay with me for the rest of my life. All the training that I got, being in the room with Stephan Sterns, I would have immediately said to myself, this guy is a coward. And he's all about self-preservation. That should have been the angle that this detective took. Forget about what you feel about Maddie and all this stuff. It should have been, what can I say to this piece of ish that will make his self-preservation brain trigger and say, it might be in my best interest to cooperate with this guy because that's the only way I'm going to preserve myself. Stephan Sterns is all about self-preservation. That's why he so flippantly says, like what? I don't know what you're talking about. I took her to school. I just threw out trash in the garbage. No big deal. It's all about self-preservation. This detective should have started talking about what Stephan is facing. It should have been an informational. What I do is I tell these guys, I want to talk to you for a couple minutes, and I don't want you to say anything. 1 second. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. I'm talking and I got my seasonal allergies are kicking in. I'm like a hedgehog. What is it? Is it the hedgehog that they kind of figure out is spring go or winter goes long or whatever? I don't know what it is. But I'm like those hedgehogs, I think they are. Like as soon as the spring comes, I know my allergies start going insane. So I apologize for that. So anyway, they should have took the angle of what is going to preserve this guy? What is going to make him start serving himself? And they should have said, listen, this is what you're facing, buddy. And what I was saying before is I'll tell these perps, I'll say, yo, listen, I'm going to talk for a little bit. And I don't want you to interrupt me. And you're going to be inclined to want to say something. But it's in your best interest if you just listen. I'm going to give you information. I'll tell them. I was like, yo, why talk when I'm going to give you information? I was like, you want to know why you here? You want all the info? You want answers? I'm about to give them to you. So don't say anything. Just take it in because it's going to benefit you. It's going to help you. And then you take that time to tell them what they're facing. Yo, listen, we know what's going on. We got this and we got that. And this is what you face. You're facing the death penalty. But this is your opportunity to speak, not to me. Because you know that this conversation is being recorded. We also don't hide that. We don't always say it, but it's nothing to hide. Everybody watches TV. Everybody knows these interrogations are recorded. It's not just to speak to me, but to speak to the DA, to the county attorney. Because everything you say here, they're going to listen. And they're the ones who decide how you're charged. They're the ones who decide if you get the death penalty. They're the ones who your life is in their hands. And this is your only opportunity to speak to them. You'll never speak to them in person unless you go to court. This is your opportunity to tell your story to them. And if you want yourself to look like a piece of crap, of course I'd curse probably, a monster, a heartless individual, you probably saw that on TV. Oh, that's TV. That's real. We say that in real life. It works. If you want to portray yourself as such to that DA, to that county attorney, well, good luck to you, buddy, because it's not going to work out for you. Your only way for salvation is through telling the truth, buddy. Not because you like me, not because you're a great guy, because you're at that point where every single lie you tell, we know about. And all it does is dig you deeper into the hole you're already digging. Right now, you're fighting for your life. And the only way that's going to get you there, give you those possibilities of leniency, I can't make you any promises, but those possibilities of leniency, possibilities of forgiveness is by you telling the truth. That's an approach that I would have taken with this guy. It's a whole lot better than the approach that they're taking right now. But let's keep going. Let's see how it works out.
Okay. You understand? Family's pleading with you. I'm pleading with you.
It's not going to work.
girl that we need to find.
That doesn't work with a sociopath. The family's pleading with you. I'm pleading with you. You putting the ball in his court. It's not going to work with a sociopath. It's not going to work with a narcissistic individual. You have to make it about self-preservation, not about them doing kind things. How do you expect a kind thing out of a guy who's doing the worst thing humanly possible to a juvie, to a youngster, every single night for the last 7 years? You ask for grace from him? No. He's not going to give it to you because he's not programmed to give it to you. He's a beast. He's a seed of Beelzebub of Mesophopheles, however you say it. It's okay to laugh at me in the chat. He's only going to give you what he feels will preserve himself, will benefit himself. This approach is futile. As we know, it will be, because we've seen this before. It's futile.
And it's, as more time goes by, it's tough. I have kids, he's got kids. And this little girl's out there somewhere that we need to know where. And I really, really, really think you can help us. I mean, you want to get something off your chest. I don't know what it is, no. But I'm pleading with you.
I don't know where it is.
And then he talks like a little child. I don't know. That's his declarative statement. I don't know where she is. I don't know. I don't know. Come on, Steph. The universe gave you the right one, Steph. The universe gave you the right one. I'm not averse. I'd have been like, yes, you do. Why not? I do that all the time. I should go into those interview rooms with my gavel now. Now that's a weapon. Yes, you do. You know what I know. People going to be mad. Why are you screaming, strategic? Stop screaming. Yes, you do. They gave you the right ones, Stephan. You got the right ones in the room with you. This guy just want to tear you apart, but that's not going to bring anybody any closer to justice. That's why we don't take it personally. It's a job. And we have to indoctrinate ourselves into understanding it's a job. It's not personal. It's personal for the victims. We are here to get facts. We're here to administer and be a part of the justice system. You got one guy here that just want to tear you apart, and you got another guy here who needs a few interview and interrogation classes. You were given the right ones, Stephan Sterns. You were given the right ones. Let's keep going.
What happened with?
I dropped her off.
Where?
I dropped her off on the road to school. That's the last I saw her.
Okay. Sometime throughout the night on Sunday, did you guys have any interaction, conversation?
This is irking me. He keeps changing the energy. Like, you want to know that moment when I started taking my career to the next level and really started understanding the nature of these bad guys is when I started believing in the energy. When I started understanding that there's more to us than just science. We have energy. We have auras. We have collective energy. We could feel each other. People feed off of other people's energy and emotion. They bring it up and then they bring it down. You bring the energy up and then you bringing it down, detective. You're not maintaining that energy, man. You're not maintaining that pressure. We could feel the pressure in the room. That stuff is real. You got animals out there that scientifically can literally detect the energies of other creatures when they go hunting. We've studied it. It's sharks can do that. That's just the one that come in my head. Like most animals can. Bats have these abilities. They could feel the electrical magnetic pulses of other creatures, and they could determine, there's a wounded animal. It's not moving electrically the way that it normally moves, it's wounded. Let me go over there and get an easy meal. If that's possible in the animal kingdom, why can't we have vestiges of these things that may not be as powerful as it is in a shark, but we could use it to help communicate non-verbally with each other? This stuff is real. This energy is built up in a room, and this detective doesn't know how to manipulate that energy. Those emotions, if you want to use that term. He keeps going up, he keeps going down. And that's why they got nothing from Stephan Sterns, because Stephan Sterns, in the end, was in control. Because every time Stephan Sterns says no, he got no follow-up. When Stephan Sterns says, no, I don't know where she's at, that detective is so, yes, you do. Just like that. That's why I scream like that, because that energy is necessary in the interview interrogation room sometimes. You got to be a dynamic person the way I am. How I could talk low and be like this and talk high if I want to. You got to be an actor. You got to be able to work in a Shakespearean play. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do oft live after them. The good is often turned in their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The mighty Brutus has says Caesar was. So you get. That's part of being a detective. It's not just about being able to grab facts. It's not just about being able to understand and how to read DNA forms and read phone subpoenas and bank subpoenas. There comes a point where you now have to be an actor. It comes a point when you have to be able to master truth and deception. These guys might be the best detectives when it comes to analytically examining evidence, but they don't have what it takes to be an actor, to sell justice to this evildoer. They don't have that. They don't know how to present their bodies. Look at this guy. He's slumped over. The whole time he doesn't move. He's like he's the hunchback of Notre Dame. He doesn't know how to exude his confidence and overbear this man with his energy, with his confidence energy. He doesn't know how to suck the energy out of the room and give Stephan Sterns nothing, the vampire Stephan Sterns, nothing to feed on. They lack those skills, and therefore we have no confession, or not even a great attempt at a confession, because a confession is never guaranteed. I'm sharing this stuff with you guys so you guys could truly understand what we do for a living, the difficulty of what we do, and just how pivotal and important this moment is. How pivotal and important this moment is. We wouldn't be talking about Madeline Soto right now if they got this right. We'd be talking more about Naziah Harris right now. We'd be talking about all those other children who've been victimized and who need their voices heard. We wouldn't be talking about Madeline, because if these guys succeeded on their task in this room at this moment, we probably have a guilty verdict right now, a guilty plea right now from Stephan Sterns. Remember, we're a year later from when this happened. By now, by this moment, few months after this, with negotiations and all this stuff, with that confession given away in this room, we would have gotten our guilty plea. If only business was handled in this room. Let's keep going.
Patience.
You want to fight?
No, I'm not saying fight. Just, did you guys sit up and talk, or?
We talked while I was making ramen. She was excited about her choir performance coming up. She was singing a little bit. I told her it was pretty. It reminded me of Sister Act. That's why I wanted to show her that movie. Just talking about a crush she had on the boy.
How'd that make you feel?
Fine. She knows she's not old enough to date, but I told her to crush on her. Get your crush at something.
Do you think?
I mean, we go backwards again. So now he goes back over what happened the night before. That was a good question when he says, how did you feel about the crush? And then Stephan Sterns speaks about this little girl like he's her father. It's not her father. I mean, we know her father wasn't really in her life, but he speaks like he had a say as to when she's old enough to get a little boyfriend. Of course he didn't want to have a boyfriend, because he wanted her all to himself. Because in Stephan Sterns' world, she was his girlfriend. She was his property. She belonged to him. Big shout out to CBC. 199 Super Chat says he's sleepy, high, slap the table, jolt him, awake him. Absolutely. 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 There's nothing wrong with that. You can't get physically violent with a perp. Of course not. But catching somebody's attention like that, no. Let the attorneys argue that out. Let his defense attorney says, oh, well, he intimidated my client because he slapped the table. Okay, we'll fight that out in court. And 9 times out of 10, 99.99999 times out of 100, the judge is going to side with the prosecution and say, nope, it's admissible. It's nothing. At no time did the detective threaten him and say that he was going to hurt him. He just slapped the table. He was using his emotions. Big deal. Big shout out to DP Perky with a $5 super chat. I missed this one, so I want to definitely call this one out. I think I missed it. Maybe I didn't. Says happy to help. Be sure to hit that like button. Let's get strategic on the mainstream. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. But good point. Good point, CBC. Very good point. Let's get back to it.
Has she had any boyfriends in the past?
Not per se, boyfriends as however they can be early on, but we decided that she was too young, needed to avoid that BS.
Alright, being that she's too young, so she shouldn't be having sex with boys. You're saying?
She's all the drama in middle school. And
I love this question. I love that question. Okay, now I got to give you grace. I got to give you grace, detective. That was a great question. Did you see how Stephan Sterns handled that question? Do you see how he handled that question? That was an excellent question, detective. Now we talking. Now you talking like a detective. He said, so what you're saying is, paraphrasing of course, she is too young to be having sex with boys, right? And what Stephan did, total, utter deflection. He says, all the drama in middle school. He does not say, yes, you're correct. That's what most dads and moms or even stepdads who care about the kids, who's not doing anything crazy to them, would say, right? Like, yeah, of course, it's too young, way too young. He threw that out there because he knew, and Stephan knows what Stephan was doing to Maddie. So if she was too young to be doing that with other boys, then of course she'd be too young, of course, to be doing that with you. But Stephan could not address that question because he knew what he was doing, so he deflected. That was an excellent question. Threw Stephan off his rockers. Big shout out to Leslie with $5 super chat. Said, animals send out and receive energy. Reading energy is a skill. Feeling the energy and reading behavior are fascinating and so effective when used together. And that's what we do as detectives. Absolutely. And thank you for saying that, Leslie. And big shout out to Marilee Ruati, who's now a patrol member. Thank you so much, Miss Mary. Appreciate you for joining us. I want to go back and hear that again. That was powerful. Let's go back and listen to that one more time.
Did you crush at something?
Do you think, has she had any boyfriends in the past?
Not per se, boyfriends as however they can be early on, but we decided.
And notice that, remember when we say with this whole jealousy thing, that Maddie belonged to him. We made a video on that. We spoke about jealousy. That was one of the motives for him ending her. He's guarded and he has his hands up and he's backed into a corner. When is the only time he takes his hands out? Boyfriends. The notion of Maddie having a boyfriend or care for somebody else other than him is so upsetting to him, so traumatic to him, that the only time he lets his guard down is to show you how much disdain he has for the thought that she could have feelings for someone else other than him. Boyfriends, bam. He's here, boom. Boyfriends, bam, right back. But he had to let you know with all his spirit how he felt about those boyfriends. He possessed that youngster. He possessed her. She was not her own person. She belonged to him. Let's keep going.
She was too young. Needed to avoid that BS.
Alright, being that she's too young, so she shouldn't be having sex with boys. You're saying?
She's all the drama.
He should have made eye contact with him when he said that statement, but he was busy scratching his head. But let's keep going.
In middle school and all that stuff, none of it counts. None of it's real. It's just Or she'd be better off waiting till high school.
I'm surprised he also didn't tell him, why are you not looking at me in my face? Like, Stephan, when I talk to you as a man, you need to look at me, all right? I'm looking at you. You need to look at me. That throws somebody off their rockers as well. Because there's a reason why Stephan is looking at this fixed point on the tables, because he's ashamed and he doesn't want to give you any tells. He doesn't want you to see when he's lying and when he's telling the truth, because we're visual beings. So sometimes people think they could keep one kind of like facial expression. They could maintain their composure if they just focus on one point. So you throw him off the rockers. So, Stephan, look at me when I'm talking to you, buddy. I'm here. Why are you there? Look at me. Let's talk. Let's keep going.
Has she ever talked to you about boys?
A little bit sometimes. A little bit.
Has she ever, because I asked Jennifer the same thing, has she ever disclosed to you about being sexually active with boys?
No.
Do you know if she's ever been sexually active with anybody in the past?
Not that I'm aware of. I heard there was some sort of incident when she was much younger where she did something with a phone or a camera but got scolded for it. She was very young. She didn't know. She got scolded for it, though.
So now he's thinking to himself, well, maybe they saw a photo. So now he's trying to explain how there could be a possibility that there would be a photo of her in a compromising position. I would definitely dig down deep on this. Like, all right, so tell me about the situation. Oh, well, I wasn't there. So tell me what you heard about that situation. And just get him to kind of like walk you through it. To at least get that documented before he lawyers up. Because we know he's going to lawyer up soon. But you definitely can't let a statement like this go. You want to know, all right, well, tell me about that situation. Let's see if I don't remember. Let's see if the detective, because I didn't review this a long time ago. I reviewed this. So this is almost like it's brand new for me because I haven't seen this in a while. Let's see if he follows up with that.
I wasn't around then. But it's vague. It's just remembering what someone said offhand.
All right, so I guess the detective did do a follow-up, and he said, I'm just remembering what somebody said offhand. Let's keep going. I would keep him, I would keep him there in that space. I would keep him there. Well, whatever, whatever. Did I say whatever? Let's say it again. Whatever.
What happened to him?
Flat tire. I haven't changed the flat tire in about 10 years, so I made a rookie mistake and had my thumb too close to where the jack and the frame meet, and it slipped, and the frame came down on my thumb and pinned it between the jack, which I feel like I got off surprisingly light with that.
Ouch.
I yanked it free. You're not supposed to do that. It looks okay. It's got the word stutter. Some bruising under the nail.
What about the other scratches?
Courtesy.
So we in the real world, in the real world, outside of this vacuum of a space, this alternate dimension that is this interview room. In the real world, we know that these detectives have access to thousands, I think 1,700 photos and videos specifically of Maddie. 1,700. And then I think, 50,000 or 36,000, something like that. I haven't looked at the numbers in a while. Somebody tell me in the chat. Make sure you're accurate. Don't give me the number that you feel. Give me the number that you know. But tens of thousands of other material that has nothing to do with Maddie. The stuff that he got off the internet. Some of that stuff is new. Some of that stuff is decades old. Whatever. He's got the material. They also know that at this point, they're investigating a homicide. Now they're talking about the scars on his hand. Now, don't get me wrong. That's probative because those stuff, 35,000, somebody says. That stuff could very well have been as a result of him unaliving Maddie, right? But we didn't even properly go through all the other stuff. We didn't even get a confession. We didn't get him to acknowledge that she's gone. We didn't get him to acknowledge that he abused her. And we got none of that stuff. Every time he says no, that's the end of it. They go to the next topic. and now they're on his hands. This so far was a failure of an interview because he denied everything. In the absence of any evidence, you could not prosecute him on anything he said in this interrogation. Stephan Sterns gave them nothing. Zip, zero, nada. He gave them nothing. Let's keep going.
A janky tire iron and the road.
Did you bleed at all?
Yeah, this one had some blood and this one had some blood, but not much. It clotted fast.
Do you know what popped your tire out?
I have no idea. Tire just started going floppy and then
Pretty warm.
way floppier and then just completely freaking separated. Thank God we had a spare and a jack. Janky as it was.
I don't remember ever doing an interrogation and I'm sitting like this. Oh, yeah? Tire fell on your hand? Okay. Mm-hmm. I would think just off of the charges that this man is going to face, that alone would require you to keep your composure and be as professional as possible when you know that his life is on the line. I know we don't care about him, but we care about the system and the integrity and the respect and the honor of the system. They knew going into that room that they were doing a death penalty interview, a capital punishment interview. And our detectives, they're all of our detectives, are in a capital punishment interview like this. What are you getting for lunch after this? Oh, let's get some Chipotle. What do you want, Stephan? Oh, I want some McDonald's. Chipotle's too janky. Leaves a bitter taste in the back of my mouth. Then it makes me have to use the bathroom. I don't want to use the bathroom once a week. Because I'm not human. I'm evil. Anyway, let's keep going.
So typically when changing a tire and stuff, you tend to get brake dust and dirty and all that.
Yeah,
Did you happen to...
positive that I breathed in some freaking brake dust or tire dust or something because I was coughing the rest of the afternoon.
What'd you end up doing to clean up or stop the bleeding and stuff?
Nothing, actually. Just
You didn't
went
get
home
dirty?
and washed my hands and that was it.
Did your clothes get all messed up at all, or?
Not bad, surprisingly.
What were you wearing, by chance?
This. So I think I'm still wearing this. I'm still wearing the same clothes.
Oh, so you kept everything?
Try to, I guess.
You were wearing a red shirt?
Who was wearing a red shirt early in the morning? But I changed clothes later because that shirt was maybe a couple days old that morning. And the flat tire happened after that.
Did the flat tire happen before or after you dropped off this school?
After.
So we got like 10 more minutes, and then we'll transition into a call-in show. I want to be done by 12:45 latest. I do have work, so 12:45 latest I want to be done. But we will do a call-in show. So yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, because the rest of this is going to be him getting searched and all that stuff, and not going to. I'm not going to show that. It's not really probative for what we're trying to do here, for our purposes here.
It was sometime afternoon between noon and like 2:30. I don't know how long it took me to fix it.
And you changed your shirt before or after going back to get the gate clicker?
I don't recall. Maybe after. I can't. I'm so sorry. I was medicated. I've been medicated all week. My memory's just not as reliable as I would like it to be right now. I was in a fog and half asleep that morning as it was.
Did you walk to the car on her own? when you took her to school?
Yes.
What are you thinking about?
So I'm spacing out here. Long day, no sleep.
Who else has access to your car? Are you the only one that drives it?
My parents have access.
This interview is kind of like, it's like no different than the interviews they did outside of his home or Jennifer Soto's home. Like, it's just like information gathering. But at this point, they had all the information that they needed. They didn't need to gather any more information. They needed a confession or at least some incriminating statements that could corroborate the evidence that they had. You know, like, this is the point where the statement would have been so powerful. It still is powerful. It's going to be used against him in court, but where he said, I didn't start it. I would have given them a win if they got that statement from him, that comment from him in this interrogation room. Like, they were hammering him on the CSAM stuff, and then he's like, yo, I didn't start it. That would have been beautiful. That would have been beautiful. They got nothing from him. Nothing. Now they're asking him his feelings. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I'm not going to say I've never asked that question before. What are you thinking right now? What are you feeling? But considering the point where you're asking that question, where you came from, it's a fail. It's a 100% fail. Well, how do you feel? Well, I feel like I just defeated 2 detectives, and I gave them nothing. That's how I feel. That's what Stephan Sterns is probably thinking right now. Let's keep going.
But here, Kissimmee.
Yeah, Kissimmee, I'm pretty cool.
Somebody just made an interesting comment out of the comment section. Rebecca D. Silva says, excuse me, let me find your comment. Comments are moving. So his dad is a better detective. Yeah. The way his dad questioned him on the phone is better than these detectives. When he's like, oh, you know, I might be getting out of that. Like, yo, do you understand you're not getting out? That's what these detectives should have said. His dad was a better detective. Like, yo, you understand you're not getting out? You understand that you're going to be in there forever? We're going to be dead by the time they're even looking at you. He's like, yo, do you understand the gravity of the charges? That's the stuff that these detectives should have said. That's the stuff that these detectives should have said. And his dad was able to elicit that statement like, I didn't start it. If these guys would have played their cards right, they could have got that statement from him. Because his father put him in that emotional space where he felt he needed to defend himself in that manner by saying, I didn't start it. These detectives never put his back on a wall. Stephan Sterns put his own back on the wall, and he stayed there until they told him to stand up and lift his shirt up and take his pants off and all that good stuff and take pictures of him. Stephan Sterns dictated this interview from start to finish, while these detectives sleepwalk through it. Hey, I work for Osceola County. I'm the Kissimmee police detective dude. That's what I do. I'm a detective dude for a living, and I want to talk to you about this stuff. Hey, did you kill Maddie? Nope, didn't. Okay, let's go to the next question. Did you do anything inappropriate to her the night before? Nope, absolutely not. Nope, did not. Okay, so what's going on with your hand? How did you hurt your hand? Oh, I was changing the tire and the car fell on it. All right, well, next question. How you feeling right now? I'm just daydreaming. That's it. Just chilling. Okay. Thanks for your time, Stephan.
Pretty much the only one with access to it.
So safe to say you'd be the only male driving that Lincoln?
Presumably, yes.
I want to get back a little bit to your relationship with. You saying she's not allowed to have boyfriends or anything like that?
She can have crushes. She likes that's fine.
Alright, have you and her ever exchanged, like, you guys exchange text messages? How do you guys communicate?
FaceTime. She'll FaceTime me at night when I'm not around before bedtime to say goodnight. I'll talk to her and her mom. And Sometimes we don't even talk about anything. We'll just sit there doing our own thing and just with each other's faces on the phone. Just spending time, you know.
What happened? So the deputies made a comment. So what happened to your phone?
I have no idea what happened to my phone. I was pushing off doing this update for a while and I ended up trying to do it. I don't know what the hell, my head being in the state it was, I wasn't paying attention. I ended up somehow doing some sort of option that updated the OS, but it ended up like wiping my phone at the same time. Even just now, the phone that my dad gave me and set up for me, I literally just pulled it out of my pocket and the sucker was reinitializing again. So I don't know if it's just me and technology right now, or I'm just not paying attention, or...
Did that happen once to your phone, or how many times do you think you updated your phone?
I think I tried to update it twice, and I don't know what happened.
Okay, and from what I understand, that you gave the deputies consent to look through your phone. You did, okay. And you voluntarily gave it to them so they could bring you here to do the extraction and stuff like that. Okay. What do you think was on the phone?
Text messages. Emails. Phone stuff.
Pictures?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of pictures were on there?
All right, I'm gonna stop it here for 1 second, and I'm gonna go back, give you some context. I just gotta thank DP again. I just checked my email, and you guys understand. I checked my phone. Some troll made a statement about it, but I do want to explain it for you guys. Troll was like, "It's very unprofessional for you to check your phone." This is how I communicate with the team, because I'm doing this by myself here. They're seeing things that I don't see. They're highlighting people. They're telling me, "Hey, somebody sent you a super chat. Make sure you go and you thank them." This is our way of communicating, all right? Maybe when we become successful YouTubers, we'll have a better technology on how to do that. We don't have no producers. We don't have no directors here. We have no assistant here. It's strategic and a ton of technology that I got to control myself. So it's the team that's showing me this love. So I'm not over here checking my stocks, which I should be because this is peak trading time right now. No, I'm over here managing the show and speaking to the team so we can give you a good show. That being said, DP showed crazy love and just sent us almost 900 documents related that was just released, of which part of that documentation was the medical records that we're going to be doing a show on. Almost 900 documents. Thank you so much, DP. You are absolutely, positively, 1000% appreciated. You guys understand, we've got quite a bit to talk about on Maddie. I don't like talking about one topic. I like to mix it up, but it looks like this is going to be Maddie's month. So I know there's a lot of people out there who like me talking about other victims and other cases. I'm going to get back on it, but we're going to be focusing on Madeline Soto for the month of March. We have no choice. There's just too much information that's been released that we need to get through. So big shout out to DP. There you go, DP. She says, "You're so welcome. Thank you for fighting the good fight." Thank you so much. And thank you for making it easier to fight that good fight by giving us this information, because we don't have the money and the resources to FOIA this ourselves and pay the exorbitant fees that they're charging these YouTubers. That's why I give nothing but respect and love to these YouTubers for getting this information and sharing it. But guess what? We now have our own documentation thanks to DP. All right, so let's keep going. Let's wrap this up.
Trading card pictures, lightsaber pictures, Disney pictures.
Do you have a Google account?
Yeah.
Do you save pictures to your Google account?
Sometimes.
Or is it automatically? I know sometimes phones sync to a cloud and...
Yeah, I think it backs up to Google.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes when you reset your phone and your phone updates and puts these apps back on your phone, sometimes they will put the images back on your phone.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you have any pictures on your phone?
I assume so.
Do you have any pictures of you on your phone?
Probably. I mean, we went to Disney, took selfies on the train.
Oh, probably, maybe. We went to Disney, took pictures on a train. You hear this guy sounds? Like, wow. Are you kidding me? You guys raised, I mean, no disrespect to the parents, but you guys raised this piece of ish. You raised this bumbling idiot. You raised this man-child. This guy's 40 years old, guys. Like, listen, I got my own litter. If my son grows up to act like this, hopefully, God willing, don't do the things this person, but has that kind of bumbling, juvenile mentality, I'm a failure. Only time will tell, and I'm going to put the best effort I could possibly put in to raise a strong, intelligent, empathetic leader. I'm going to try my best to raise a man. But if he turns out like I'm a failure. We went to Disney and we rode a train. Big shout out to TN Travel with a $9.99 super chat, says, I believe and respect what you do, strategic. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And big shout out to DP with 5 gift membership. DP's on a roll today. DP is carrying the show on her shoulders. We appreciate you, DP. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for all the things that you're doing on the background that we're showing you love for. Thank you very much. Let's keep going, man.
She got back from Puerto Rico and had her hair braided. We got pictures of that. All sorts of pictures of family events. I'm not as much of a shutterbug as your mom. Take her every once in a while.
Hold on, let me back that up, see what he said, because it, you know, she put on the audio thing.
Family events. I'm not as much of a shutterbug as your mom.
I'm not as much of a shutterbug as her mom. Okay, let's keep going.
Take her every once in a while.
Yo, my son come talk to me like that. I'm like, yo, what are you talking like that, yo? Like I'm like 70, he's like 40. I'm like, yo, what are you talking like that, man? Stop talking like that. It's my shutterbug. What you? I didn't raise you like that, boy. What's wrong with you?
Any other pictures you can think of? Here's where I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There's pictures of you in your phone.
I'm going to be honest with you. We be honest. He the one that need to be honest with you. You talking about you going to be honest with him. But, I mean, you know, is rudimentary interview interrogation skills here. So that sounds good. Okay, it sounds good like you hear on TV. I'm going to be honest with you. We got this. But it's over, guys. We got like 30 more seconds because he's about to ask for an attorney.
And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about. You're a very intelligent person. And I don't want you to discredit yourself by saying you don't know about all the pictures that are on your phone. You understand what I'm saying? So do you want to add to the list of pictures?
No. Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
Oh no, Scooby-Doo is back, baby. You guys know I was going to do the Scooby-Doo. I don't know. I mean, he got his hand from his chin for the first time in like the last hour of interview interrogation. He goes like this. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. The dude just teetered on the line of invoking the right to counsel. And you let him get away with that, bro? No. Missed opportunity. Let's keep going. I don't know.
I can't answer that question.
I can't answer that question. Let's keep going.
My sole purpose right now is to see if I can find where it is.
Finally, he put his hand on the table. Oh boy, I already told you guys what's supposed to happen here, but anyway, let's keep it.
And I'm really hoping you can help me.
Okay. Well, I'd like to try to help. I feel like I should probably have a lawyer present at this point.
So you want an attorney?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's over, man. It's done. Missed opportunity.
That can happen. I want to let you know you're not free to leave.
That's it. It's over. I'm not even doing any more. Big shout out to everybody who's joined me so far. I want to do a call-in show real quick. So let's get that phone number ready for you fine people. We definitely have to. We're going to be changing the numbers soon because, unfortunately, Skype is going out of business. Microsoft is closing Skype down. I guess it wasn't lucrative for them. And so we're going to need a new call-in software. I think we're going to settle on Google Voice. That's what we're settling on, Google Voice. So, yeah, we'll get a new number. So it is what it is, guys. So please call in. The phone lines are now open, 518-639-6283, 518-639-6283. We'd love to hear from you. Wow. We went through it. We got through it. Only a two-parter, so I'm proud of myself. We didn't go to a part 3. I hate it. Sometimes it has to happen, though. What's going on, caller? Welcome to True Crime and Strategic. What's your name and where you calling from, please?
Hi, my name is Hootie. I'm calling from Philly.
What's happening, Hootie? What you got for me?
So, love your show. You're hilarious, and you are such a great detective. Love hearing everything you have to say about, especially this case. But I've been thinking about some of the things that just feel inconsistent, and I wanted to put a theory down, see what you think, and then ask you a question.
Okay.
So, the detectives asked Jen about a text she sent to Stephan Sterns. Mm-hmm. She said, "I can't risk it," about Maddie sleeping in her bed. Mm-hmm. Now, is it possible that Maddie was in Jen's bed? Because she said that they all slept together for a while. She was drugged in her bed, and the issue was that Maddie would wake up and see her mom there. So that about the text. Also, on Maddie's birthday, she was really upset at the party, as per her friend. Mm-hmm. Jen also said that because of her not taking her medication that night or that day on Saturday, that she was all out of sorts. She was so depressed. But is it possible that Maddie said something at her party to someone in her family or talked to Jen and said, "I can't do this anymore," or maybe she was going to come out with an outcry, right? Mm-hmm. Jen or Maddie contacts Stephan. Stephan freaks out. He needs his medication. And then Jen and Stephan agree that because Maddie's about to make an outcry, we need to get her out of here. Which is why maybe Jen was a mess at work, not because of her meds. That lady took her medication religiously. I really doubt she didn't do that. So now Jen Soto's mood is soured, Stephan Sterns' mood is soured, and then because they're planning to take her out. Also, Jen would probably, now I don't know, but as a speculation, because she was taking these meds and she said she felt nothing down there and she wasn't interested in that, is it possible that she was allowing access to Stephan to Maddie in her bed and feeling as though, at least I'm here, at least I'm present, I have a little bit of control over it, but also it could potentially explain where some of this money was coming from, that they were just spending like crazy, where Stephan is potentially paying off Jen for the access through these transactions that he's having. Now, my question is, how does that theory sound to you? And 2, if after Stephan is charged with the CSAM case, after the trial, he's charged, is it possible that at that point, Jen could be brought in as an accomplice to that crime and then her trial could potentially start, you know?
All right, so this is a two-parter. Number one, your first thing is anything's a possible theory. I'm starting to believe that she had to have known, considering the access that she gave to Maddie. As far as if she's going to be in the bed when it happens, I don't know that. You don't know that. It's a theory. It's possible. Also, I don't believe, from my understanding, that there was ever any evidence that Jen was in any of the pictures, any of the 1,700 pictures. Jen was never in those pictures. Any of the videos, it was just Stephan and Maddie. So I would think that if she's a part of the actual ex abuse, that there would be times that she would be in the videos or the pictures, that they would slip up, they would mess up, and that she would be present in some of those pictures. And if that's the case, then she would have been charged, hands down. Doesn't matter how bad Florida is at times with dealing with cases, they would have 100% charged her. Now, the second...
Not if they wanted... What about if they wanted to use her as a witness and stay on her good side? You know, like even in that case?
They would have not done the derivative use deal that they did with her. They would have done a transactional immunity deal, if that's the case. And secondly, that's not how it works. How it works is we charge you first because we have physical. What do I need to stay on your good side for? I have physical evidence of you engaging in child abuse in the worst possible way. I have a conviction right there sitting for me. I'm not going to stay on your good side. What I will do is I will arrest you. I will charge you while you're now stewing in county jail waiting for your trial to start. Then I would make a deal with you and say, okay, well, you're facing 30 years in prison because we have you on video, we have you on picture doing something horrendous to this juvenile. Well, let's make a deal. We want him bad. We want a death penalty on him. Instead of you getting 30, we'll give you 5. We'll give you 15. That's how you're supposed to do these deals. That's why I and everybody who's in law enforcement and knows how this process works, said that the fact that he gave her a derivative use immunity deal without knowing what she was going to tell him, which was nothing, means that they feel that they have nothing on Jen. That's why I said the likelihood of her getting charged is nil, 0. Because if they had something on her, we don't make deals with people while they're walking around. We throw them in jail and let them get a taste of what jail feels like, and then we make a deal with them. That's how it works. So will she be charged? First of all, she's not going to testify. I want you to listen clearly because a lot of people don't understand this. And if I'm wrong, which I won't be wrong, I'll say I was wrong, but I won't be wrong. There's no way that Jen Soto is testifying in trial for or against Stephan Sterns without immunity. Period. And I'll tell you one reason why. Because she has an attorney. And the attorney would not allow her. That attorney would be engaging in malpractice if he allows her to get cross-examined by Stephan Sterns' attorneys. All the lies she told already. Allow her to get cross-examined without having immunity? That's suicide. Because without immunity, she could be charged in a different trial. That's why she has to get immunity. Otherwise, if they force her and compel her to testify, she's going to say, I plead the fifth. I'm going to let you go so I can grab this other caller. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Yeah,
no problem.
No.
All right. How you doing, caller? Welcome to True Crime Strategic. I'm sorry I had to rush off that other caller, but I saw you calling, and I want to go grab something to eat, so I wanted to catch your call. What's your name and where you calling from?
Happy Strategic. My name is Melissa.
How you doing, Melissa? Where you calling from?
Maryland.
All right, Maryland. What you got for me?
Well, I was listening to the show, and it just, came to my mind through the metadata of all of the pictures that Stephan had saved. Mm-hmm. Can't the police find out where was Jen during when these pictures were being taken? Was she at work? Was she at the house?
Do further investigation, sure. The metadata of those actual pictures won't tell you that, but you could get the date, the time, the location, the GPS coordinates of the pictures. And then, yes, through further investigation, you could conceivably determine where she's at. It's not going to be easy, but you could get her phone and see if she has a GPS record of where she's at during that stuff. If she's at work, you can contact her employer. You can subpoena an employer, find out, get her timesheets, find out what days she was scheduled to work, what days she wasn't, what days she was substitute teaching, all that good stuff. So yes, conceivably, you could build out her movements. It's not going to be perfect, but you get a good idea of her movements, at least when some, if not a good proportion, because 1,700, so that's a lot of photos. You could definitely lay down quite a few whether she was home or not.
Yeah, I think that they should definitely at least try a little bit to see how culpable she is in all of this while it was happening.
The thing is, though, even if she's home, if he's in a room with her alone with Maddie, and Jen is not in there, how do you prove that she knew?
Right. Right.
I mean,
Also,
if that's the
I wanted
case, then
to-
all of the abuse cases that I get, I should be locking all these mothers up. Or when the brothers and the fathers is
that's
abusing
true.
the daughters, I should be locking all the mothers up because most of the time they was home too. They just didn't know what was happening in the
true.
bathroom or happening inside of the bedroom.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I thought it was really interesting your take on the detectives, and yes, they were being so easy on Stephan, and it made me laugh because me as a teenager, my mother would be like, "Where were you? Oh, really? You said this? You were here, really?" And then even a mom would have pushed harder on him when he's just kind of leaning back like a teenager, just like, I don't know. It just didn't make any sense.
Nope. That's why we need more moms in the police forces, so they can become detectives and ask those questions that need to be asked. Like, are you serious? Look into my eyes.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. I think you're great. You're hilarious. I heard your first podcast when you were talking about Diddy and the booty snatchers, and I was like, I have to follow this guy.
Oh,
He's
boy.
hilarious, and
Thank
the
you.
information you give is wonderful.
Appreciate you. All right.
Take care.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm like kind of rushing people at the end a little bit, only because I'm trying to get as many callers in as possible because I got to leave soon. So how you doing, caller? Welcome to True Crime Strategic. What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's Jay from Orlando, man.
What's up, Jay? What's happening?
Hey, you better wear that tie when I bring you in. You're talking about my detectives like the way you're talking about.
Listen,
man.
if you send me the subpoena, I will comply. I will come down there and I will tell you about yourself. And I'll also train your detectives how to ask questions.
Hey,
I won't even bill you.
I see you. I see you. Hey, man, just watching and that first caller, man, that was so similar to how I've been feeling about this, where like I said a few calls ago, where I feel like she was PIMPing her daughter here, and man, I also don't know what's going on with the media here. The media here, other than okay, we put it together some little, the 7-8 part documentary Channel 6 did. Where has the eyes gone off Jen? Like, I feel like at some point they must have had eyes on her between the Monday of the disappearance and then the Friday of the finding of the body, and all of a sudden she's in the wind. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if she will go to the trial here coming up, if it's next month or if it gets postponed again because of all the stuff, it probably will be. But will she go? Will they question her? Will her reaction be? Wow.
Well, I mean, like I said before, I don't think that Jen Soto is going to be a witness in this case unless she's given immunity. She can't be based off of her documented lies. She can't answer questions. And number one, she's easily impeached by the defense because she has documented lies that she said on sworn statements. So she's a terrible witness for the prosecution if she does not have immunity and if she's not willing to give material evidence against Stephan Sterns that's actually probative, that's actually worth more than what we got during that derivative use immunity deal. So there's no way she's testifying because her lies can then be used by the defense to take blame off of Stephan and say, well, look, she's got a terrible record of lying. She had something to do with this. And the prosecution is looking at the wrong person. There's a possibility that Stephan's defense might, because they don't have to tell the defense. They don't have to. They might just, you'll see it when it comes out in court. They might just end up saying that Jen killed Maddie and Stephan's just got rid of the body.
Right.
They might,
and I have thoughts about that too.
Right. And so what we're working with is two things here. We have a state that authorized the death penalty for X assault. And it also has an established capital punishment for unaliving somebody. The ex assault stuff is uncharted territory that is yet to be challenged by the Supreme Court. This is not written in stone. It hasn't been challenged yet. The Supreme Court might say that you cannot sentence somebody to death for ex assault. But what they do have is a solid, unalivened capital punishment case on the murder aspect. I'm trying to talk YouTube speaking. It's just not working. Whatever. The bottom line of what I'm saying is that they might try and mitigate the unaliving and accept the ex assault by saying, yes, Stephan did do these things to Maddie that you see in pictures in the video, but he's not the one that killed her, because they got a better chance at fighting a death penalty verdict for the CSAM stuff than they do for the unaliving.
Unaliving, excuse me.
So if they muddy those waters and say that that Jen Soto's the one who actually ended Maddie, he could just get life in prison for the sex assault. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. That's what I'm thinking too. You know, I really hope we see her in the courtroom. You know, not as a witness, whatever, but like, you know, just going, and then we, you know, I would like to see that.
Yeah, we'll see. Matt, Aki, make sure you clip this one right here, Aki, because this is my theory. I want to put it out in a separate own little thing so nobody can say that I wasn't the first one to say it. Appreciate you, Jay.
Hey, good idea. All right, appreciate you, man.
All right, have a good one. All right, anybody else? If there's nobody else, we shall call it a day. We've been here for 2 hours. I'll take another call if another call comes in. That's it. We're not taking no more calls, man. Appreciate you guys for supporting the channel and showing love. I appreciate everybody who call in. Even if I don't agree with what you're saying, I still appreciate you calling in and all that good stuff, because it takes a lot to call in, support the channel. One thing here, we're adults on this channel, so we're not always going to agree, but it's always love and it's always with nothing but respect. All right, so that being said, guys, you guys are amazing. Please consider becoming a member of the Patreon. We got new videos we just dropped on the Patreon. You can't find it nowhere else. We also have our membership where we give exclusive content to members who are part of the membership. We love all the support that we're getting. We just want to grow. So make sure that you like and you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you put something inside the comment section to increase engagement so YouTube can ship this show out to other people. And lastly, share with your friends and family and all that good stuff. But you guys are amazing. We had a really good show. We got a lot to talk about, so make sure that all of your notifications are set for all. Make sure your notifications are set for all on the channel so that when we drop this new stuff, you will be the first to hear it. All right, that being said, let me cue up that outro. Strategic is out of here. Peace.